Gary Cantrell podcast. This is episode number 12. Man, every time I say the episode number, it kind of blows me away a little bit because I'm just like blown away at the fact that it's already at 12 episodes. This is like insane. Anyway, hope you guys had a good week. I know I sure did. I just got back into town from Las Vegas. This was yesterday. I got back into town. I'm recording this on Tuesday, August 29th. Yeah. August 20th. I had to think about that for a second. Anyway, before we get the podcast too deep going, got to tell you guys, of course, about Lyft. If you want to ride, if you want to drive, go to Lyft, enter the promo code Gary's Podcast. You're either going to get up to $20 off your first ride, or you can get up to a $1,000 bonus if you want to drive. Make sure you check out the site for all the details, because this is different from state to state or market to market. Also, you can support the podcast by going to Amazon. But don't go to Amazon.com. No. Go to Gary'sPodcast.com/Amazon, and you can support this podcast by shopping on Amazon, something you do already. I bet you didn't think about it that way, unless you listen to this podcast for a week and you hear me repeating myself. But I bet you didn't think that, oh yeah, I could support a podcast just doing shopping that I was going to do anyway. I don't have to buy this person's merchandise. I don't have to buy anything from this person. I can just go on Amazon and buy stuff I was going to buy for me, and they give him a few pennies off of that sale. Cool. Works for me. Sign me up. So anyway, go to Gary'sPodcast.com/Amazon, and it'll take you to the front page of Amazon. And from there, you can buy all your stuff, and I will get credit for it. And you don't pay anything different. You don't pay anything extra. No worries about that. Amazon just takes a couple of pennies off the sale and delivers them down to me as a thank you for sending you to Amazon. So there you go. Lyft, Amazon, two ways that you can support this podcast. And boy, after being in Vegas, I sure need your support. I lost my ass in Vegas, let me tell you. I booked this trip back in, I want to say like February, maybe March, but I'm thinking it's February. You know, the wife has never been to Vegas. Our first date was the Hangover movie, and the Hangover took place at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. So I'm like, yo, Vegas, let's do it. Let's stay at Caesar's. Why not? This was all my idea. It's my great idea. We get there on Thursday, and Caesar's is an amazing hotel. Let me tell you. If you go to Vegas and you can't afford Caesar's, I don't know how the hell I afforded Caesar's. I got a great vacation package, and I booked it like 6 months in advance. I think that's how I got such a good deal on it. But even if you go to Vegas and you can't afford Caesar's, go and visit Caesar's, because it's an amazing property. You can spend literally an entire day just on the Caesar's Palace property. Okay? They have like 4 different hotel towers. They have one of the largest casinos I've ever seen personally. They've got, the sport book. They've got several restaurants, and I mean several. They have their own shopping mall attached to this property. So, like, when you're walking out of your tower that you're staying in and you walk through the casino, there's like a long hallway that takes you into a shopping mall. And this shopping mall is as big, if not bigger, than most actual regular shopping malls. True story. I mean, it's a freaking gigantic mall. So I was here for 4 days, and I felt like I still didn't see everything. Maybe I saw everything of Caesar's, but seeing everything of Vegas, I think even in a week, it's hard to do all that because there's just so much going on. You get there and there's just a vibe about Vegas, okay? First of all, you can drink pretty much anywhere you want, okay? I had a drink in my hand within the first hour and a half of being there. And in Vegas, you are allowed to walk around with your drink on the public streets, open container, and you can drink to your heart's content, walking the streets. I don't know if this is available anywhere else, and if it is, please let me know because I want to go. Maybe they're cheaper than Vegas, but seriously, you can go anywhere you want for the most part with a drink in your hand. I was in one of the shopping malls at the Planet Hollywood Hotel. I'm in Bath and Body Works with my wife, and I've got a Miller Lite Tall Boy in my hand, open. I'm drinking a Tall Boy Miller Lite in goddamn Bath and Body Works. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I never thought, if you told the me of 15 years ago, hey, you're going to be hanging out at a Bath and Body Works with a Miller Lite Tall Boy in your hand, I would have thought you were on drugs, okay? This is it's insane because most, if not all, the nights that I went out walking on the strip or during the day was with a Tall Boy Miller Lite in my hand. No joke. Except for the last day, which was my birthday, which was this past Sunday, by the way. I turned 35. And I had one of those tall, frozen drinks, which I forget what this one was called, but it was like it was almost like an orange soda kind of flavor, but it had Bacardi 151 in it, which is just insanity. I'm like maybe a quarter of the way through this thing, like a half an hour in, and I'm hammered. Like I am just completely bomb hammered, and I'm just like I don't know, man. I'm almost feeling like numb. Okay? Almost feeling numb. A half an hour into this frozen drink, and I feel numb. That's how strong this thing was, okay? That's how strong it was. It was just that, like, by the time I finished it all, I should have been dead. Honestly, I should have been dead. But I managed to live. So I made it through my birthday. I'm 35 now. I lived to tell the tale, and it worked out great for me. Okay. Gambling, though, did not work out so well for me. I bet a lot of money on Conor McGregor, the big Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor fight, which, by the way, was announced long after I had my Vegas trip booked, because when we got there, it was crazy. The scene on the ground in Vegas was insane. Let me tell you, because these guys, these Irish guys, okay, where is it? I'm just looking up something. The Irish fan base to support Conor McGregor, like, it's very much like a ride or die kind of deal. Like, these guys save up for months at a time so they can afford to fly to America and watch Conor McGregor kick somebody's ass. And that didn't happen this time. I mean, he didn't kick Floyd Mayweather's ass, but he did put up a good effort, I thought. I thought the first 3 rounds he had won. Honestly, I really did. So that was kind of cool to like meet some of the Irish fans. Funny story, actually. We were leaving the weigh-ins, and by the way, I have video on my Instagram at Gary Cantrell of these fans after the weigh-ins, and they're just going ballistic for Conor McGregor. You've got guys with the Irish flag draped around them. Like, just picture Rocky 4 at the end where Rocky's got the American flag wrapped around him. That was like every other Irish guy in Las Vegas supporting Conor McGregor. Seriously. And so anyway, we're leaving the weigh-in, and there is a guy who's crossing the street illegally. It's totally on him. There's a guy on the other side of the street in a car who's trying to make a left onto the strip. But this guy's walking across the street, and he almost gets hit by this car. And rather than, either cuss the guy out or apologize because, hey, I'm an idiot who's walking across the street when I shouldn't be, he beats on the guy's hood and screams, "Fuck the Mayweathers." Like, that was the saying the entire weekend was F the Mayweathers. Seriously. The whole weekend, this is all I heard. People would greet me on the streets. "Fuck the Mayweathers." Seriously. That's how they would address me on the streets, and other fans who were fans of Conor McGregor. This was just ridiculous. I mean, like, these fans, so passionate, and, Irish guys would walk up to other Irish guys, "Fuck the Mayweathers," all weekend long. Had a guy in the airport yesterday morning. He's flying out of Vegas, going back to Dublin, but he's getting on my flight because he's got to connect at Dulles to fly international to Dublin. And I see him that morning, and I had, I don't even think I had on any kind of Conor merchandise, but I kind of just gave him like a nod because I saw the flag and I thought it was cool. And he just looks at me, "Fuck the Mayweathers." I'm like, all right. We're really connecting here. This is great. Even in defeat, though, all these fans rather, were treating this as if you would have thought Conor won, the way that these fans were acting after this fight. Because when we were leaving the theater, now we had to get closed circuit viewing because tickets to this event were just astronomical. I think the cheapest buy-in price was $2,500, which no freaking way am I paying $2,500. So the next best option was to pay $150 to watch it in a theater, not like a movie theater, but like a theater, like a Las Vegas show type theater. And our theater, the reason why we picked this one, which was the Park Theater at the Monte Carlo, was because it was right across the street from the T-Mobile Arena, and it was the only one that I saw that had assigned seating. Everything else was kind of like first come, first serve. Whatever you got, that's what you got. But I will say it was so kind of fascinating to see this show on like a 300-inch, like a gigantic screen. There was 3 of these screens, one in the center, one to the left and the right, for this kind of circular theater. It seemed like a newer theater too. It was actually very nice. And basically, you just get what they call a closed circuit feed, which is I guess is a little bit different from pay-per-view. I never quite understood it. I know you guys know I'm a wrestling fan, right? So like WWF back in the day used to do closed circuit television, and basically what that is it's like the distribution of a pay-per-view event to a movie theater. So that's kind of what, or to a theater, it's like the distribution of a live event to a paid audience in a venue. Like you're paying for an audience to watch it. Something like that. I mean, I don't have the dictionary in front of me to give you the exact term. I mean, closed circuit is used in so many different other terms, but that's the term I know it as. Okay, so it was a closed circuit viewing of this event, and it was good. I mean, it was, There's only one time where the feed got lost and the crowd just like had this like collective gasp. Luckily, it was during a fight that no one cared about, so that was good. I couldn't even tell you who else fought on this show because for me it was a one match or one fight show. Like with wrestling, there's always, a couple of matches you're looking forward to. With UFC, there might be, usually it's a one fight show, but, they'll put on a couple of other matches. You're like, oh, that might be interesting. And in this particular instance, this was a one fight show. The promoters would tell you otherwise, obviously, but I thought, in my opinion, it was a one fight show. And that's the deal. But it was really cool to kind of see what that was all about. So that was the fight. We did the weigh-in on Friday, the closed circuit viewing on Saturday, and I must say, as somebody who likes to order UFC events or watch WWE events on the WWE Network, this whole starting at 8 o'clock is overrated because being on the East Coast, it's not over till 11. On the West Coast, something that starts at 8 would start at 5, and you're done by 8, which is amazing. I mean, to be walking out of this place, and by the time, the crowd lets out, let's just say it's closer to like 9:30, 10 o'clock to get out. But, man, I'll take that all day over 11 o'clock. Screw that. I want my sleep back. So, good deal, good time all around on that. Friday night after the weigh-in, actually, I came back to the hotel. So I had 2 celebrity encounters. One, I was not expecting either of them. One, I didn't even know who the hell I was talking to until afterwards. So I'm coming back to the hotel on Friday night after the weigh-in, after kind of just walking around hanging out. And I've got my McGregor t-shirt on, McGregor Boxing Club t-shirt. And this guy in a suit, looking pretty dapper, rolls up. And he says, "Hey, man, you betting on the fight tomorrow? You going to bet on Conor?" I said, "Absolutely, I'm betting on Conor. You kidding me?" And I said, I've never bet against Conor McGregor. And he told me, he was like, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like, you're not just betting on the man. You're betting on the journey, right? You're betting on this guy's journey up until now. And then after he walked away, I then found out who he was. And my wife's looking at me like she's going nuts. Like, dude, I'm pretty sure you were just talking to Calvin Harris. Now, Calvin Harris, as you know, famous DJ, musician, producer guy, has a lot of good tracks on the radio. He's awesome. He's really awesome. And as we're walking down the hall, because he was just in the hall, like he was performing at Caesars that night. I don't know if he was coming up from like a comped room he had, although I thought he would have been in the more expensive tower. But regardless, he was in my hallway, or in my general corridor that I'm going to in that hallway. And after we separated from one another, she's telling me, yeah, that was Calvin Harris. And on the wall, there's a poster with his picture. Looks just like him. Sure enough, I go on Twitter and Instagram the next day, and I'm like looking at who's tweeting him or who's, tagging him on Instagram and stuff like that. And I see him in the club at Caesars from that night wearing the same stuff. And I'm just like, holy crap. This is insane. Like, did that really just happen? I was not expecting it. It was just completely unexpected. He approached me, and, he probably saw that I wasn't fanboy freaking out because I didn't know who the hell he was. I mean, I like his music, but I didn't know his face. And so he saw my shirt and was like, oh, I'm going to talk to this guy. Maybe he knows something about something, whatever. And we had like a very brief interaction, and it was really awesome. So that was cool. Then my second celebrity interaction, I want to say this was Saturday. Yes, this was Saturday. I'm down in the lobby around 4 o'clock. Just got done walking around the mall, and wife's playing slots, and I say, hey, I'm going to go to the front desk because I just got a new Total Rewards card, which is like their little, gambling card, and you can get points on this card and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to go give this card to the front desk so they can apply it to the room, and thus I'll get credit for our stay at this hotel. And I'm standing in line waiting, and this guy comes up behind me and says, hey, man, is this where you check in? And I'm like, yeah, yes, it is. And I'm turning around, and I'm like, and you're Casey Neistat? And he's like, yes, I am. And at that point, I'm just like, dude, I watch you every single day. Like, I'm totally freaking out at this point. I'm like, dude, I watch you every single day. Is there any way that we could get a picture together? And he's like, of course. And he's like, do you mind if I take the picture, though? Because I really know my way around a camera. And I'm like, well, of course you do. You've only got 10 million freaking subscribers on YouTube. Of course you know what you're doing around the camera. Ha, 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 ha. But he was very nice, and that was the end of my interaction. There was another guy that walked up who I guess was a part of his crew, and he was saying, yeah, is this where we're checking in? And he's like, yeah, well, this guy Gary here says this is where we're checking in. And I chimed in. I'm like, yep, the line's moving a little slow, but this is where you want to be. And he's like, thanks again, Gary. Nice to meet you. And then I run off to go tell my wife, and I'm just as giddy as all can be. And, I do literally watch his stuff every day because I really like the way he does YouTube vlogging. Just the creativity of how he does it, the different angles, the drone footage, the different ways that he gets his shots in, the way he lays out his story for the day, the way he makes it all come together works out so well. And so I watch him every day. Well, I should clarify, every day that he has a new video, I watch him. But sometimes I'll get on YouTube and you know how YouTube is. They really have invested in the whole like rabbit hole thing, right? So like you find one video that looks kind of interesting, and you click that. Next thing you know, you've watched like 18 more videos. And so on most days, I'm watching Casey, especially if he's got new videos, for sure. So very cool to meet him. I did get a picture with him. You can find it on my Instagram at Gary Cantrell. Like it, comment, follow me if you don't already follow me. Go for it. Why not? What are you waiting for? So that is the deal with that. And all in all, it was cool. The pools in Caesar are really nice. I mean, they have I want to say 6 different swimming pools, and I'm just like, wow. How many swimming pools do you need? But they're all kind of cool. They've got different statues coming out of them and different structures around them. They really have this cool look about them. So when you're there, there's an experience to that. And also Friday night, we saw Britney Spears at Planet Hollywood. Britney, she puts on a good show. It's mainly you're going to watch her dance because she's definitely lip syncing throughout the entire thing. And that's so apparent because when she's singing and then in between the songs where she actually talks, it sounds like 2 different people. The voice that's singing is so well polished, and I'm not trying to take anything away from her, but it's just dude, we know you're lip syncing. There's no way you're doing the dances that you're doing and getting away with that, singing and dancing at the same time. There's just literally no way you're doing that. So That is the deal with that. But she was good. She was good. I want to say she played for like an hour and a half or something like that. So that was definitely a cool experience. You know, it's Britney, bitch. How do they say that? It's a Britney's bitch. So that's what's up. Other than that, I'm just trying to think. Is there anything else about Vegas that stands out? So let's see. Britney, Calvin Harris, Casey Neistat, Connor and Floyd. Oh yeah, my diet. We should talk about my diet. I I will say that while I was in Vegas, and I have no shame in saying this, but I definitely did not watch what I ate while I was in Vegas. I'm not going to lie. I didn't overeat, but I just did not watch what I ate, you know, In-N-Out burger, stuff like that. It was just, you know, hey, I mean, I'm on vacation. I did work out every day I was there. I mean, I walked 4 miles every day, except for my birthday. It was our last day. I didn't want to be like in a time crunch, so I walked half of the distance. I walked 2 miles, but every other day, the other 3 days, I walked 4 miles every day we were there. So, you know, that was just the exercise. That's not counting all the walking we did everywhere we went. I mean, I was logging over 30,000 steps a day in Vegas. Like, no joke. So I really didn't feel guilty with all the beer that I drank and all the food that I ate. Like, to tie this all up with a bow as far as the fitness stuff is concerned, it's like we're all on a journey. We're all trying to get to a certain goal. But at the same time, when you're on vacation, like, you have two ways you can go about it. You can say to yourself, hey, I'm going to exercise every day. I'm going to watch what I eat. You know, that's one train of thought. But not everybody's the same. I'm like, you know, screw that. I'm on vacation. Like, I'll still get my exercise in because I do enjoy walking. But I'm going to eat what I want. And again, I'm not overeating. I'm not eating a ton of stuff. I'm just not eating the healthiest of things. Like, I'm not eating a salad every night that I'm in Vegas. I'm eating In-N-Out burger. I'm eating pizza. You know, I'm eating all this stuff that is stuff I would normally not eat during my diet. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you're allowed a pass once in a blue moon, especially when you're on freaking vacation. Like, you shouldn't be ashamed of that. And for that reason, like, I decided that, you know, this week I wasn't going to weigh in. I figured that I would give myself, roughly, you know, the rest of the week and then weigh in fresh next Monday. Because I feel like, you know, it'll be a week back on my normal routine, and thus it'll be more fair than to just step on the scale after eating like crap all week. So, with that being said, I decided to have what I wanted. Again, I didn't overdo it or anything like that. I just ate what I wanted, and I had a reasonable sized portion of what I wanted, and that was it. Like, it's not, you know, it's not rocket science, right? I mean, it's nothing to be ashamed of. I didn't go and gain 15 pounds in a week, or less than a week, rather. Did I gain 10? Probably not, but who knows? Did I gain 5? Maybe. But when you're in the journey, like, you cannot, in my opinion, you cannot be hung up on the short-term stuff. You have to ultimately take it like it's the long play, right? I mean, it's a long-term investment, and you're either going to unintentionally have bumps along the road, or you can intentionally build in a weekend or a couple of days where you're just like, you know what, screw it. I'm on vacation. I'm going to have what I want, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, honestly, don't beat yourself up over it. I'm not beating myself up at all. If I get on that scale on Monday and I'm up 5, so freaking what? Next week, I'll be down 3 more. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I think I've mentioned this in a previous podcast. we harp so much on the number, but it changes week to week that there's really no kind of decent reason to be harped up on the number. So don't get hung up on that number. Don't harp on it. Don't let it ruin your day, week, month, year, whatever. It's going to be different within a week. I promise you that. So if I'm up 3, if I'm up 5, it's not a big deal. I went on vacation. I enjoyed what I wanted to enjoy, and then I got my ass back to work, and I'll get the pounds back down. It's not it's not the end of the world, in other words. So anyway, guys, it is Tuesday night. I'm 35 now. I'm recording this podcast in my new office. And that was Las Vegas. That was my trip to Las Vegas. I met Casey Neistat and Calvin Harris, and I met a lot of really cool Irish fans who are ride or die for Conor McGregor. Like, all in all, this was an awesome vacation. I was a little salty that I lost some money when I bet on Conor, but if I would have won, I would have won like more than $500, which would have been insane. If I bet on Floyd, I would have won way less. So for me, not even worth it. But that's what, when you gamble, you kind of set aside some money and say, okay, I'm going to allow myself to risk this much. Like, if I lose this, whatever, $100 or whatever, it's not a big deal because I already built in that I was saving money for the purpose of risking it. This wasn't money that was going towards something. So I got my health. I'm back from Vegas. I had nothing but Miller Lights the entire time when I was there, and water. I drink water too. There was lots of advertisements for prostitutes in Vegas, which was crazy. There were people handing out cards all the time on the street, which was crazy. And I saw a lot of cool hotels and casinos and stuff like that. So it was really kind of cool just to check everything out. And that's pretty much Las Vegas, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and end the podcast there. And again, next week I'll be back with a weight loss update. Like I said, if it goes up, if it goes down, it's not a big deal because we got to be in this for the long play. Really have to be. It's a long-term thing. Hard work always wins, so work hard. Win every day of your life. But just know that this is not an overnight thing. All the magical shakes and pills and ab belts that gyrate your tummy, like, none of this stuff works. You just got to work. Put in the work. What did Brittany tell me at the concert like 300 times on the mic? You better work, bitch. So work it. Get it done, and you'll be just fine. Trust me. So go out this week. Have a great week, guys. Honestly, have the best week you could possibly have. Right? I mean, just go out there. Have a great week. Be the best you that you can be. Do kind stuff for others, especially if you're living in Texas, man, with the Hurricane Harvey, it hit Texas very hard. Do kind stuff for others. If you can, donate. There's a lot of charities out there. Just find the reputable ones. I haven't even begun to look up which ones would be reputable, but find the real guys. And if you can, donate to the victims. If you live in Texas, if you can help people, just, be the best you that you can be. Help others. Live life to the fullest. That's really what it's all about, guys. I'm out of here. Thanks for listening. Go on Lyft. Take a ride. Save up to $20 on your first ride. Or if you want to drive, cool. Get up to $1,000 sign-on bonus using my code, Gary's Podcast. Please see the site for details. The number changes from city to city, so what it is in my city may not be the same in your city. So whether you want to ride or drive, use the code Gary's Podcast. And also, if you're shopping on Amazon, instead of going to Amazon.com, go to Gary'sPodcast.com/Amazon. And that will forward you to our redirected page. It'll take you to the homepage, make your purchases, and we get a couple pennies on it, which is really, really cool. And finally, I want to hit you guys with this. Please, 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 if you can. I don't ask for much. Guys. But if you have access to iTunes, please go on the rating system and rate this podcast 5 stars. Give me 5 stars. Rate the podcast 5 stars. Leave a review. It really, really helps, guys. It really helps with the discovery of the show. I would really appreciate any help I can get on that. Honestly, I need some reviews. It's empty. I need your help. Thank you. Other than that, I'll be back next week with a weight loss update and whatever else is going on in my crazy life. Because this weekend is Labor Day, so I'm sure I'll have some kind of stories for you guys next week. But anyway, I said I was going to end like 2 minutes ago, and I'm still talking, so I will see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.